Kevin Williams, along with girls basketball reporter Greg Lerner from the Shore Sports Network. It is TOC time. Tournament of Champions begins this week. 6 teams, 6 girls teams left in New Jersey playing basketball. And I guess, not a surprise, 2 of them call the Shore Conference home.
Yeah, and those 2 teams also pulled down the 1 and 2 seed, which is pretty impressive from one conference. Number 1 seed Manasquan, they win their 5th straight. Think about that, 5th straight Group 2 championship in a wild game. When you think it, they needed 95 points to put away Newark Tech, and it was 95-79. They put them away in the 4th quarter, but it wasn't like those were extra points. Like they were putting up points because they needed to put those points up. Great job by Darren Mabry with 35 points, Lola Mulaney 27, Faith Masonis 20 and 11 rebounds, another double-double. But Carly Geisler, the senior guard, who kind of gets overlooked, and it's not fair because she does all those little things that Elisa Kokoda will tell you about are so valuable to Manasquan. Hits 2 big threes, takes a charge at the other end that I really thought, that was the moment where all those kids got stoked up. When you're willing to sacrifice your body, that's when kids, like, it's like the ultimate badge of courage. So they move on. And then St. Rose on Saturday takes care of business against IHA. They win Public A. They get the 2 seed, and we're ready to roll. We won't see them, though, until Friday.
And, of course, those games, the TOC quarterfinals on Wednesday and semifinals on Friday, are at the RWJ Barnabas Health Arena in Toms River. Boys play Tuesday and Thursday, and then the championship games in both are Sunday in Trenton. But Shore fans will get the chance to see those two local teams play pretty much close to home. How do you break down the field? Because, let's not forget that Franklin team, the defending champions and number 3 seed, who were very impressive on Sunday and have just seemed to peak at the right time of the season.
Had more than one person come up to me like that I would consider long-standing girls basketball fans in the state of New Jersey, saying this might be the best field from top to bottom that the TFC has seen in quite a long time. Franklin. Hey, listen, we sat here a couple weeks ago, and I was happy that we got out in front of it, and we said that we thought there would be a Manasquan Franklin in the TFC final. Franklin did nothing yesterday to change my opinion in that regard. They blitzed Toms River North, and no disrespect to North, man. It was a great job by Toms River North to get to that point, and I thought Jenna Paul was very poignant when she said we got to see what the next level looked like. Unfortunately, it was at the Mariners' expense yesterday, 70-30, and I mean, it wasn't even that close. We're talking at one point where it was like 66-16, and you're looking at a state final, but that is the degree of separation in Group 4 between the team, Franklin, and the rest of the field. Defending TSC champions, winning their 2nd straight Group 4, and Diamond Miller. You think about this, Maryland, in the span of the last month, has gotten Faith Masonis and now Diamond Miller, 2 of the best juniors in the entire state of New Jersey. They will be the cream of the crop next year for the senior class. And she showed us why yesterday. I mean, 27 points and effortless. Taking stuff down off the defensive glass, going the other way. So I still think, I don't care where anybody's seated, they're still the ones in possession of the TSC trophy, and you're going to have a hard time wrenching it from their grip.
So it starts on Wednesday, the quarterfinals, and it will be Franklin taking on Old Japan. That's the 3-6 game. And then the 4-5 game is Saddle River Day and University. Your thoughts on those 2 real quick? I
think the Saddle River Day is outstanding. You got to see Michelle Sidor, Sydney Watkins, Jenna Jordan, Jada Patrick. Saddle River Day won the Bergen County Tournament for like the 3rd straight year. They're outstanding. They're athletic. They've got depth. They can beat you in a number of different ways. And University, folks will remember, University gave St. John Vianney a run for the money very early in the season and sent a message that, you know what, we might be considered Group 1. We can play with any team in the state of New Jersey. That's very true. University, they got a senior-laden team led by Danielle Robinson. And then Ortiz just can stick threes all over the place. So that team is very good. Old Japan, a great story. They got the 6th seed, but when you think about it, to get to Toms River over the weekend, they had to beat Pascagoula Valley to win that section up north, and then knocking off a Ewing team that's probably a little more athletic than they are and a little quicker. But Brian Dunn is a master coach. Football, girls basketball, I don't care if he's coaching piano lessons, he always gets the best out of his pupils. So Old Japan will be a thorn in the side. They're going to be overmatched probably by Franklin.
All right, so Manasquan and St. Rose get to go on Wednesday, watch and scout, and get ready to play on Friday. So what's your thoughts on, where we go So who's playing Sunday in Trenton? I'll make it easy for you.
Who's playing Sunday in Trenton? I'm going to tell you what, it's going to be, if it goes chalk, we're talking about Manasquan against Saddle River Day, a team that Manasquan beat rather handily back in December. Now it's a different Saddle River team, but Manasquan already has them on the resume. The semifinal game Friday night could be St. Rose and Franklin, and that's going to be an outstanding game because you're talking about a St. Rose team that might play half-court defense as good as anybody in the state of New Jersey. Okay, they just cut you off in the basket. They help real well. They get after you. They've got some physical elements to them with Ari Dahlia, who likes to play physical. Sam Mikos, who uses her length very well. And then you got your three seniors, that have been around the block: Lucy Thomas, Lovin Marcicano, Michaela Markham, against a Franklin team that is really. Camille Gray is their senior, but then you've got Tiana Jackson, you've got Diamond Miller, you've got the Shank twins. These kids are all underclassmen, and they've been there before. So St. Rose is going to have their hands full just trying to stop Franklin. You saw them. I'd love to hear your opinion. What do you think after what you saw this week and seen both Franklin and St. Rose?
I was wowed by Franklin. Yeah. Now, I clearly felt that Toms River North, who had a great season, not to take anything away, but as you said, that was probably a stage they weren't ready for. But part of the reason they weren't ready for the stage was the team they played.
Right.
Franklin exposed any weaknesses they might have. I was wowed by Franklin, to be honest with you. I knew they had some losses early in the year, didn't know what to expect. Man, at times my jaw was open. I mean, Diamond Miller's, I feel like I'm watching, there were some tremendous players on display this week.
Yeah, and shoot, I thought Franklin yesterday shot the ball incredibly well. Over 50%. Now listen, when you're attacking the basket and a lot of your buckets are inside, then obviously your shooting percentage is going to be high. But within that, we're talking about, I love seeing teams that shoot mid-range jumpers, which is the lost art form in basketball. Camille Gray was hitting stuff from above the foul line but inside the arc. Diamond Miller obviously can shoot from inside, outside, parking lot, parkway, it doesn't matter. She can shoot from anywhere. I still think right now that St. Rose has their hands full, and I still like my original pick that it's going to be Manasquan and Franklin in the final.
Interesting. 3 weeks ago when we're having conversations like this, we're talking about St. John Vianney, which was the #1 team in the state, and it just shows you what you have to go through to get where they are now. That Vianney's been home for a week or so, and they're a great team.
Yeah, and we also spoke about a few weeks how that short conference tournament, it takes some starch out of you, okay? So that when you get to this point, and St. Rose and Manasquan, the short conference champion, they're still playing, you say, wow, man, it's conditioning. I've always thought that Manasquan may be the most conditioned team I've ever seen, okay, in terms of they have a pretty short bench, and so their nucleus is usually on the floor for an entire 32 minutes, and they're not playing like, hey, let's run it again. They're playing at 100 miles an hour. So I think conditioning has a lot to do with it. I think St. Rose is another team that's very well conditioned because their core is on the floor so much. They also have some depth, though, and that's what's been really carrying St. Rose quietly. They're getting production from their usual suspects, but when you got Lauren Lithgow hitting threes, you got the freshman Abby Antognoli coming off the bench and doing some stuff, Maggie Stapleton coming off the bench and hitting some buckets for them. So now we're talking about 3 kids who are coming in, and they're not just statues with pigeons laying around them. They're active, they're looking for shots, and Raheem Carter likes to say, we tell those kids to hunt for their shots. Well, they've been hunting and they've been scoring.
Okay, so I'll put you on the spot. Sunday afternoon around 4 o'clock or 4:30, who is hoisting that TOC trophy?
I thought at one point that the trophy was undeniably going to be Manasquan's because not just because of what they have, but they have the one person who has that gene in her body that her sisters have, and when they want something, they're like the whiny kid. They want to ask for candy until you get it. Well, Darren Mabry wants that TSC, and she wants one by herself. She got one with Marina, her sister, when she was a freshman. Now Dara would like to get one without her sisters involved in this, unless you're talking about her sisters, her soul sisters, and Faith Masonis and Lola Mulaney. I'm going to tell you what, Franklin, though, Franklin really wowed me. I'm going to tell you, I think that it's going to take a superlative effort by Manasquan to stop Franklin, and I also think that just having a little bit of a revenge factor, losing that game in the TSC final on a buzzer beater in overtime to Franklin last year, probably doesn't sit well with those kids who were on that team last year, and for them, when you think about it, were starters in Geisler, Mulaney, Masonis, Mabry.
So with pressure on, you would take Manasquan in a close one.
I'm going to take Manasquan because that's where I sat at from the jump. I don't want like the flip flop and anything, so I'm going to stick with Manasquan. And I don't mean to sound like I'm hedging my bet, but I would not be surprised if Franklin was going to repeat and be one of the very few teams that's ever repeated Shabazz being the other.
Well, 2012, Manasquan won it, led by Michaela. 3 years later, 2015, Manasquan won it, led by Marina. 2018, if the cycle continues, Manasquan will win it, led by Dara.
Yeah, which and like you've seen stuff about Dara. God, she reveres her sisters, okay, and they've had a huge influence in honing her game because that's who she banged against in the driveway and at Orchard Park growing up and playing. But she's also the little sister, and she'd like to set a mark for herself, and that would be to win this thing without Marina or Michaela on the floor and just supporting her. And I feel like she has the ensemble around her to get it done. She also has that insatiable will that, like I said, is wired into every Mabry. And I feel like that could be the thing that pushes them over the top in a rematch.
Well, I've said this. I've gotten to watch her play for 4 years. Not nearly like you have. I have yet to find anyone who I will say, there might be better players somewhere. There's no tougher competitor than her.
No. I think it's like she probably eats cereal the fastest in her house. She probably cleans her room the fastest in her house. She probably, chases people up the stairs. But again, that is something that has run through the course of all three sisters. They are fiercely competitive, and I mean, who likes to lose? I know three girls who don't, and their names are Marina, Michaela, and Dara. They definitely don't like to lose.
Well, no matter what, the Mabry era in terms of girls basketball ends at the Jersey Shore this week. Enjoy it while you can. Greg Lerner, thanks so much. Kevin Williams will, of course, follow the TOC on the girls' side all week. Greg is the guy. Check it out at shoresportsnetwork.com. Thank you, everyone.